Welcome to Amplify Media ON. You know, over the years, Canada has been one of those countries that has presented itself as a safe haven for very many people all over the world, including those who are looking for brighter economic opportunities, those who are looking for quality education, those who are looking to resettle for different reasons, but also very importantly, those who are looking to resettle or who are running away from persecution, from wars, from threats, from discrimination, and several other things. And particularly, we know that Canada opened up its borders to Uganda long time ago. But we noticed that in the late 70s, no, in the mid 70s actually, we saw very many Ugandans who we could categorize as Ugandan Indians coming in when, if you remember it very well, for some of you who still remember some bit of history, when Idi Amin expelled Asians from Uganda. There's very many of them who came here. And over time, of course, we saw Idi Amin's government, of course, being overthrown.
Yeah.
And then Uganda went through some sort of instability here and there and wars and all that. And we saw a couple of people also fleeing and coming to Canada, in search of safety and protection. And others have come for different reasons, school and all that different stuff. But recently, I think over the last few years, maybe over the last 5, 6, 7 years, like from 2018 and up to today, we have seen an influx. Very many Ugandans coming here. Right? Coming to Canada. And of course, many coming in as refugees for different reasons that we all know, especially Fauna, Uganda. Tuzimanyi, we know that very well. And we've not had an opportunity to talk about what this means for the Ugandan community here. So welcome on the Amplify Media 01. This show is a very important show for the community because we bring in people who matter and people who have important stories or stories of impact that they can tell, which are informative. And today I'm joined by a brother, a big brother actually, Innocent Karuhanga.
Yes.
Why I gave you that history is because Innocent is one of the senior community leaders that have lived here. He's originally from Uganda, right?
Yeah.
He's a Canadian citizen, so I don't know whether he's no longer Ugandan. But at least...
Oris.
But he's born from Uganda. He's Ugandan by birth. Of course, he's a Canadian citizen too. And he has lived here for a very long time, so he has seen very many people come through. He's going to tell us how long he's lived here. So let's just dive in straight. Mr. Innocent, welcome once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I just want to learn from you, because I haven't introduced yourself. What does the influx of Ugandans coming in Canada mean? Is it an opportunity or is it a problem?
Wow.
Please let the viewers know you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Patrick. I mean, first of all, before I even jump into, my name's Innocent Karuhanga, all the way from Ntungamo, by the way.
I used to think you come from...
No, all the way from Ntungamo. I've been here for 24 years, coming to 25. 24 years. And I have really enjoyed what you do. You're one of these, I think, people, and I'm going to talk about the question you just asked, but one of the things that have not been appearing to so many shows that happen in these communities, there are people that are doing so many shows in these communities, and they're all definitely doing so good. They have good intentions, which is great. But just going back to what you asked, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? It's always a good thing. Mm-hmm. It's always a good thing. And I think one thing I think the community needed I can tell you, ever since we were here then, we used to have a little get together, this and that. There was no competition at all. There was no creativity, I would say. There was creativity, but it was not that much of intentional, that you were trying to do something that's going to really help so many people. And so the influx of so many brothers and sisters and young people that came up until now did not only reintroduce what they call creativity, but they also kind of brought in this whole a whole band of fresh air.
Like a vibe,
There was this whole
energy.
vibe. I mean, let me use your word vibe, but this vibe which actually would actually take the community to a different level, competition-wise, being not only being creative, but also to be able to do things that will benefit the community, will benefit people that come in. And so that is why, for me, I have been so in support, and I always really, it has been a blessing to see so many of you guys that have not only started companies, associations, organizations, anything that is not just only not to make money, but just kind of bring Ugandans together, bring the community together, try and get some incentives outside there to see how can we diversify, and how can we go out, just think outside the box. The things we used to do 20 years ago, 15 years ago, oh God, they are different.
They're different. And then that's where...
Different.
That is why I invited you here. Because I've been looking for someone who has a history of a Ugandan immigrant in North America. Because, and we're going to use both languages. I know my shows, I usually shoot them in English for the benefit of everyone.
Yeah.
We're going to be mixing. Because I also have very many people who are not Ugandan following and watching my shows. So I value that audience as well. But also I know that there's very many Ugandans too who I value. So, how were things before when you came in? First tell me, so you get here and what was the reception?
Okay.
When you step foot here, and compared to what the reception is now, because when we came in, you saw us coming in, right? You know how you received us, right? So what has changed? How were things before when you came in?
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you. So, it is comparing apples and onions, I think. It is totally different. So, just to give you a short scenario of when I came in 2000, that was just 2000 in April. It was cold. It was cold. We went to the University. We had a course there. And we had a conference that was going on, of course, after the course and all that kind of stuff. We decided we're not going back. We're not going back. Now, there were a few Ugandans which I had no one I knew. I came with a friend. We didn't know anybody at all. So the professor told us that if you really want to stay, you need to go to the shelter and stay there because this is done. There were shelters. And
was it easy to find a shelter then?
Yes, it was, because there were not so many. I would say maybe it's so many refugees that were there, and there was no bed. There was no. At that point, everything was okay. The only problem was, I think most Ugandans were not so familiar with going to the shelter. So we didn't find any Ugandan until I called my brother who was in the U.S. And he said, well, there's a friend of mine who lives in Scarborough. I had no idea what that was. And then that friend came, and then we came from York University all the way downtown to meet that friend. And then when we met him, I don't want to mention his name because it's gonna be a problem. So this guy didn't want to do anything to do with the shelter and the refugees, and I don't know what was wrong. Up to now, I still could not understand what happened. So what he did is that he said, well, we want to go to the shelter. So he looked at us and said, oh, okay, so I'll help you. So he did, there's Shabon and Queen, there's a shelter there. There's a shelter. I think it is still there.
That must be Maxwell, right?
I think it is still there. And so he goes like, okay, I'll take you. He had a car. We threw ourselves in the car. He drove us. He didn't stop at the shelter. He stopped like 100 meters away from the shelter. I remember that time. So we jumped out of the car. I said, okay, let's go. So even then, he stopped at like 20 meters away from the shelter. He goes like, you see where that light is right there? I'm like, what? Yeah, then you just go inside there. You're gonna find there's a lady there, and I'm like, somebody gotta be there to help you out. You can imagine. We had no clue where we were going. So, but you said, well, we have to go. So we had to go, and that one I will never forget, because we had no choice but to simply go. And as soon as he pointed that place and said, you go, we left, and he left. And he took off. He took off.
Yeah.
Well, I called him afterwards, but he said, did you find it? But it was one of those excruciating moments I will never forget. Yes, we went there, and then as you go in, you obviously see people sitting around, and you see all these, obviously people that have special needs and all that kind of stuff. So and those things, you've just come to a country where you think it is all bread and butter, but then you find people who are like, really, you go like, oh my God, where did this guy given us? And so we had to go in anyway. So that is how we started, that little point there. That's how we started, and went to a shelter. And things started rolling.
They didn't tell you there are no beds, right? Because right now that's like the norm. There's like literally no beds. Very many refugees are struggling to find a place. I mean, it also reminds me when I came here, there's a friend, I definitely won't mention their name, but they took me to Peter Street. Like, that building where there's sunlight there. Yeah, but anyway, it's history. So, we've already delved in, but before you go further deeper, who is innocent? Because for us, the innocent we know, me, I don't want to speak on behalf of others, is a family man. Also somebody who organizes events, oldies and Valentines and boat cruise, and the innocent who's a friend to Nakato of Noop.
Yeah.
Are you Noop?
Yeah.
Okay. Who is innocent?
So when it comes to politics, I don't want to talk about politics.
Okay, great. So tell me, who is innocent? The viewers want to know.
So innocent. So I am a very happy married person. I have a beautiful wife. We have 3 kids. Okay. Actually, they're older now. One has finished college, university, is working. Another one is now 19, is 20 now. We have a young girl called 13 right now. So that is beautiful. We met back home, and we got married when we arrived here. We went back home, we got married. At that time, getting married was, you see these weddings you see here, everybody comes together and you have like tons and tons of thousand people contributing tens of $1,000. No, it wasn't that. Here you had to do your thing. You had to make sure you have your money, something, go home, do something, come back.
So is that one thing we could attribute to more Ugandans coming?
Absolutely. My wedding, I think I had 2 meetings. The first one, we are 3 of us, me, my wife, and a friend. The second meeting, we were 4, and another friend. They gave me a few things, and then we called a few, and then, a contribution here, 100 here, and this and that, but it was just compared to what you're going to do back home. Married? It's 18 years.
Oh, 18 years. No, we need an anniversary.
18 years. It's going to be 19 now. It's going to be 19. So, yeah.
20,
it's going to be 19. I should say 19, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
we had to meet at Western Road.
Yeah.
Is it Western Road?
Yeah.
Yes, and
Well,
we just bless these people.
yeah. So yes, I studied food science, specialized in food science. I did. I work. I have a food bank.
Yeah.
I run. It is attached to the city.
Yeah, actually, I think I read an article about you when there was like a flood or something.
Yes, and then so we have other series, other attachment of those kind of things that we do in the community, and also I am also a commissioner at, I don't know whether you know, there's a church called United Church of Canada. United Church of Canada, it's it's almost like a government of its own.
Yes.
And it's huge. It's like all over this country. So I'm a commissioner there under the what we call Intercultural Diversity Commission, which means that we look at how do Black people or other people of ethnic groups fit in the white-dominated church
Just
leadership
like equity,
and
inclusivity, and diversity.
that kind of thing, right? So I'm a commissioner there. At Uganda Matters, I've been at Uganda Matters volunteering there for over, I think, 17 years now.
Are you only volunteering? I thought you were among the founders of it.
Yes, we were. I'm part of it, and we have not only moved from having to rent. We used to rent at Dufferin and Eglinton, but now that building you see, we own it.
You bought
It's not bought. It's what we call, we were entrusted with it by United Church. So that means they give you the building, do what you got to do. They don't care what you do with it. You don't have a land title for it though, right? But you can do business.
You can sell it.
You can do business with it. You can do whatever you have to do with it.
And that's a great
So it is just,
contribution.
it is just as good as that. So, and I think that was a blessing apart of the community. So,
Yeah. And by the way, speaking of that, sorry to cut you short, but you know, it's important when people or institutions in our community own things, on property, on business and stuff like that. Because I've seen, like, honestly, how many community events, so many community events, weddings, wedding meetings, weddings themselves, you know, entertainment parties and all that, all being hosted at that place. And I can imagine that it's possibly even slightly cheaper than, you know, somebody going to rent a venue on market price, right?
yeah.
So, and I really want to credit you for that. And honestly, I think this is what we need, right? When our own, you know, our own institutions, our own people owning things. Because, you know, there's this tendency of people fighting and bringing others down. Like, Dominion is going, I want to bring Dominion down. Uganda Matters churches, I want to fight it. Why are they? And then you forget, but wait, when they grow, because when Dominion grows and maybe puts up, is it called Dominion House or something, or whatever it's called, then instead of renting a hall at $4,000, maybe being a Ugandan, innocent can give me a hall at 2,500. I'm not saying that's what you charge, but you know, something like that, right? And I really want to appreciate the church. Please send my sincere appreciations to the leadership of that church for the big community service that they're providing to our community. Because that space, I know very many people have used it, and I know it's always booked all through. So which means like
it's always booked. And we're trying to make it better. Obviously, we're trying to make it better. As a matter of fact, I think we just got some an upgrade in terms of, if you come to rent the space itself. Right now, it's gonna have, like, you know, like all the equipments you need, like stuff, like everything is gonna be inside. Everything is gonna be included. Still, it's not gonna be as expensive as you go downtown. No. So the whole reason of having that cheaper is that it's part of our contribution to the community. Because at the end of the day, my brother, the Indian brother, I don't want to talk to them in a bad way. But they do things, every time they do things, they are so inclusive on their own people.
Yes.
They bring their own people.
Yes.
And even if they have to rent this whole apartment,
Yes.
they would rather put 10 people in one room,
And let me tell you,
their own people.
it's not only Indians. No one out there should even see that it's only Indians. Let me tell you, the Russian
Everybody,
community here
everybody
will
does.
prioritize the Russians. The Filipinos will prioritize the Filipinos. The Mexicans, they will start with their own people. So the question is that us, the Ugandans, the Kenyans, the Tanzanians, the Nigerians, if we don't own business, we don't own agencies. As a matter of fact, majority of the employment agencies are owned by Indians and Filipinos, especially in the fields that we know very well, where majority of our people work, right? And I want us to talk about, but we'll come to that later, like how can we support each other to start business, right? And serious business, because there's a lot of money from the provincial government, from the city to support small business holders to grow.
A lot.
Right? Yes.
A lot.
How do we bring those conversations into the community? Because we're not doing that. So, but yeah, proceed. You were telling me about the church, the Ugandan Methodist Church, the space.
Yeah, so about the space, obviously, it's being upgraded. As a matter of fact, we are putting all the equipment in. So pretty much next time, like starting next year, if you're renting that space, it's not going to be that expensive. Yes, there's going to be an increment in the amount that's supposed to pay for it. But again, it's going to come with all the machines you need.
So you mean like projector, sound?
It's going to be projector, there's a sound, there's everything, like the surround system, like everything is going to be there. You just have to come with your hookup and play your music and do what you got to do. Which we're trying to definitely to make sure that at least even us, even the members themselves, the actual members of the church themselves, they can benefit from such things. So you find you have like, obviously we always encourage, whether it's anniversaries, baptism, things that are family-oriented things that actually build a community. So in terms of how do we really help each other, that's part of it. That's really how to be part of it. If you have an event, and then I know these days, and you can be a witness of this. Every day, everybody wants to go to places where it's like, wow. But then when you look at the cost plus what you're getting, it's just that you want the fame and you want this whole glitter thing. But at the end of the day, is that maybe we can only, you can only touch where you reach.
Oh yeah, of course you can only
touch where you reach.
What you're able to buy.
And if you are able to do that, that's fine, great. And we should only just reach for the sky, absolutely. But if you can start at a level where it's affordable for you, and then you build from there, it's going to be very helpful. It's going to really, really be very helpful.
I totally agree. Like, I'll give my personal example. I mean, like when we started Hope for Refugees, I said, we're no longer going to do Hope for Refugees activities in hotels because we can't afford. But then we said, look, there's very many community centers in this city, right? Very many. And they are community centers. And we are a community organization. So we said, okay, how do we sell ourselves to some of these community centers, some of these community organizations to know that, we work with refugees and black communities and blah, blah. So we have something to offer. And honestly, I told my team, I said, you know what? We don't need to spend money anymore, like looking for venue. All we need to do is to have a very good concept and sell it to people who have the space. And they should be able to give us space because we need it, and we need it for a reason and for community. And so I love what you say, because I know there's, for example, like people out there who want to do stuff, but they fear. Because there's that fear of, if it's not quality, people will not come. Or they forget the small beginning.
No, you know what, Patrick.
Small as you grow.
You know what, Patrick. I think that whole mindset is a good thing.
Yeah.
But just don't use it for the purposes of using that mindset, because You're limiting because you're even going beyond and above the resources that you actually do have. But simply because you want to show Innocent and Patrick that you are able to do this kind of stuff. You know, like I'm not asking people to come and use Uganda Matters, which is at the basement, and it's a hole there. But if it is affordable for you, especially the conferences and the workshops and this and that, educative things to educate people. Yeah. Really, they don't care about what is around them. What matters to them is what actually you're delivering to them. Yes. The material, the educational purposes. Yes. What is it that they're going to get? If I walk away from that conference, what is it that I've learned? What impact am I going to bring to that community that I'm going back to?
How am I going to utilize the knowledge?
You know?
Yeah.
So but at the end of the day, I mean, it's really up to that individual what they want to do. You know, we can't go here and just start telling people what not to do, what to do, not to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting. So my other question, Innocent, is why are we lately seeing fights in the community? Because you've been here longer, I know that you know so many people. And very many people know you in the community. Yeah. I'm sure if I gave you a pen and a piece of paper and I gave you 3 days to write for me the names of Ugandans in our community who you
I don't need 3 days.
No, just to even remember further. Yeah. Like, why are we seeing bad energy? What is? I'm not saying you're part of it. I don't know if you're part. At least you know. I've not seen it anymore. Yeah. But yes, what is happening? And is it really healthy and helpful for us? Yeah. Is that something that we should?
Part of the fights are healthy. Part of the fights are healthy. Part of the fights are not, and that's what you get when you get. A community that is not well, they are divided on different aspects: political, religious, tribal, and when there's nothing that brings you together.
Yeah. So just on that point of yes, we're different, and that speaks to diversity.
Yes.
To the you know our tribe, you know, like our backgrounds in terms of maybe where we were born, our tribes, our religion, skin color, so many things. But then, although diversity actually for me comes from the word different, and because we can never be the same. Even God created man and woman and created some people white and others black, and he gave us different languages, meaning that God values diversity. But importantly, he created us in his image. Right? Because every human being has a mouth, a nose, legs, and everything, right? So the question is, instead of only focusing on those differences and their strength that our diversity brings, that we can leverage as the Ugandan community to grow, to support one another, as opposed to fighting, and also, is it fighting or it is competition? And if it is competition, can't we collaborate? Is it a fight, a must that we need to compete? Yes, competition is good. I don't have a problem with it. But can't we do healthy competition as opposed to the negative competition? Was it like that before?
No, it wasn't like that before. It wasn't like that before, and I think that's the reason why I was saying that the reason why this influx of so many brothers and sisters coming to the country for the last 10 years, it has brought so many good things, and you could say some of the negative things a little bit, you know. But the fights, if you go back to the question you're asking, the fights, they could be health fights. Health fights, when you see people trying to pull ropes or back and forth, they're competing over who can do better about something. As long as that is not going to really tear you apart in terms of your friendship, in terms of that you can't meet and actually have a conversation, a really meaningful conversation after having an argument, then that is a problem. And I think that's where we go wrong, because the differences that we have in the community, they are supposed to make us stronger. They are supposed to make us stronger. I'm a Munyankore. My friends, all my friends are Uganda. I can say 90%. Nakato is a good friend of mine. Waswa is a good friend of mine. They are good friends of mine because I knew them way before. My wife is a Muganda, right? So it comes with territory. But also, the fact is that we are totally different. What we believe in, where we come from, our tribes, political beliefs, religious beliefs, all that kind of stuff, they tend to kind of try to somehow divide us here and there. But if they divide us, at the end of the day, like the way you're asking, isn't it supposed to be building us as Ugandans, and we just look at one as, and we just Ugandans rather than looking at that kind of stuff. That is what has brought the problem.
How do we leverage, or how do we strengthen collaboration between the old, should I call them the old comers, the senior Ugandan citizens, the senior citizens in the Ugandan community, and the young blood? Because that's what we're seeing a rift.
Yes, collaborating.
Yes,
collaborating.
How do we take advantage of that and
collaborate? I will give you an example. For example, if you call me Patrick and say, "Hey, Innocent, I have my event. How can we? Not that I need money from you or you need money from me, but how can you be included in my event I'm going to do? For example, you have an event coming up, but you want me to be included. Not that I'm going to be a speaker, but how can? If you ask me that question, I'll find a way to be part of it. And then the next time I'm doing my oldies, I'm like, Patrick, I know you're a business person, but hey, how can you be part of my thing? And you might scratch your head and like, but I don't have the money, but how can you be part of my event? And you might say, okay, you know what? Okay, sure, I'll come.
We have seen some newcomers organize events, and the old comers don't show up.
Because there's no collaboration. We're not attached to each other.
Should we assume that the old comers are afraid of the newcomers?
That could be part of it. You guys are too fast, which is a good thing. For me, what I'm looking at as a person, as Innocent, you guys are doing great. I love what I'm looking at. I love.
Umuruganda bagamba, is it obukuru magezi, something like that? Like old age is wisdom, or even the egale koze kweberangu, something like that. I feel like also, yes, true. The newcomers might have a vibe and energy and all that, but there's so much that could be learned from the old.
From the old, yes. And that's why I think sometimes, yes, we learn so much from you. Like for me, there's so much I have learned to do things from the newcomers, a lot. But also, if there was going to be the other way around, it would help you so much. Because I would know so many other places that would not charge you the amount. For example, if you want to rent the hall, I would say you don't have to come to Uganda Matters, but I know like 10 more others that you would actually go to. They would say, you come, Innocent said, okay. But because you don't call Innocent to say, Munang, do you know any other? That question only.
The newcomers are saying when they reach out to you, the senior citizens, okuba supporting mutwale ngambo.
Mbuchi.
Taina na holo. Aine kumisa kumitana roza so kufuna ebyuma bya Orlando.
No.
Something like that.
No. And I think one of the things, Patrick, I think maybe we should just put as an underlying factor is the fact that I'm a Christian. I have values. I respect people irrespective of these little things. That whole thing for me is nonsense. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. If you have a good idea, I would like to learn from that idea. I would like to use it. I would like to see if it can work for me. The same likewise. If you can reach out to me and I can reach out to you, if I came to you regarding this whole thing here, maybe I could have got my phone and I do my thing here without having to travel all this way back here. But I know I've seen what you do. I like your material. I like your expertise, your skill. I can't do what you do. So I have to come to you.
Yeah, we can work together. But before you leave that point, we've also heard from the community, especially from the newcomers, that abakadde mwa abasinga dividing a community mwa abavuma, and use extremely very abusive and insulting language on all community platforms. Nze waliwo abangambye bino ebigambo si byange nti waliwo abavuma, waliwo abakadde abavuma bagenda ku groups ne beeswaza abantu bakulu balina family naye nowulira ebigambo ebibavaamu. Kati let me, you as our leaders, do you ever get to have a conversation with these people?
Yeah. I can tell you I'm over 50 years old, personally, right? But if you did not change when you're 30, 40, you're not going to change when you're 50. There are few things that you can change when you're 50. And those things are going to be, not just about the values, but about maybe how you should earn money and this kind of stuff. Because the values are so different. The way you were brought up, the way you have come to adjust based on what is around you, the way you respect people. It is something that comes from your family. It comes the way you raise your kids. It's just totally different. So those people that you're referring to, those people, they have a different, there's a reason why they are like that. I couldn't put a finger to it, but I can tell you personally, I've taken an initiative to call and to talk to some. And I don't know, I hope we will not talk about one person or two, the same people. But we have kind of to like neutralize this whole thing. Who is going to be the bigger person? And I think you've seen me, whether it's on some of these platforms, trying to intervene in some of the fights. And at the end of the day, I call someone. You gotta be the bigger person here.
Yeah, and I mean, that's...
You gotta be the bigger person.
We, honestly, when newcomers come in, yes, we know everyone is coming here on their own. They have met the cost for their flight, visa, what everything and whatever it takes for them to get here. But the moment they reach here, like you say, there has to be the mature person that will welcome them, that will help them to navigate, the way around without being exploited, without being undervalued, without being disrespected, all that kind of stuff. And that runs me to a question. Do we have a united leadership for the Ugandan community here in Toronto?
Yeah, I think recently you probably must have seen us trying to mobilize ourselves, especially with the event planners.
So wait, is it for the events or it is for the broader general community?
I think that came from the fact that people looked at we don't have like elected members of the community, if that's what you're going to. But we have people that people have gone to in regards to advice, some sort of what we call, something like that. Pastor Juba, myself, there's so many other people in this community that people run to when they have issues, they have things they want, they have some answers. So from that little circle, we decided we have things that have brought fights over and over and over. It's because we have so many events. They're all over the place. And they keep putting on top of each other. So we needed to start from somewhere. And we started from somewhere. Has it solved the problem? Not really. But it is going towards that direction. it is going towards direction. And I'm telling you, it is not going to be easy because at the end of the day, the same people, the same leaders are the same leaders that are doing the same events. They are the same people doing the same things. So it's kind of the mishmash of these same issues. But hopefully, at one time, the conversation is going to be neutralized.
Okay.
To be able to find a solution that all of us can live in harmony. Like honestly, that's a goal.
Yeah.
That is a goal.
Speaking of events, I know you have an event coming up, the Oldies Nights.
Yes.
The Oldies Night, and this is the second, the third time you're gonna.
What?
10th, 5th.
That is 14th. 14 years.
No way.
We've been doing it 14 years. Yeah.
This is going to be the 14th edition of the Oldies Night.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So, viewers, if you're watching this, I've had the opportunity of attending, I think, 1 or 2 Oldies Nights, and it's honestly fun. One of my key highlights is the way people dress with the
stuff. You get to dress really up this event. Yeah.
So it's happening Saturday.
This Saturday. This Saturday.
Yeah, tell us more about it.
Yes, this Saturday at Ugandan Methodist Church again. We have a hall that is 2799 Western Road. It is $30 going in. We also have VIP tables, of course. That will come with a meal, a good meal. We make sure it's actually a traditional meal. Comes with a drink, and so basically the Oldies Night really, and people just want to make sure we take this myth out. The Oldies Night is for everyone because at the end of the day, it's just kind of a part of us. When I'm listening to music of 60s and 80s, there are some good things I learned from the messages out of the music. If you're in love with the music, it is one of those things that you come to and you remember those songs. And you know what is so funny? I don't know how old you are, but 75 or 80. You might have been a young, but they could have been that song that you can remember.
Yeah.
Even when you're at this point, and when they play it, you go oh my God, can you imagine that time?
Yeah.
That is.
You recall those old days, right?
Those are the emotional attachments that come along with the fact when you come to Oldies Night. Because they play those songs where you go no, holy moly, Jesus. And that feeling, you don't get it at just a regular club.
Yeah.
You don't get it. And also, we don't just play that. We also play our actual traditional music too. There's a session where we call cultural session, right? So half an hour, we play our actual Uganda, Chinyankolia, Iteso, Lango. We play those little... we bring it in.
Those cultural music that identifies us. Yes, no, I totally agree. Because I've attended 2 of them and I've heard our Banyankole, Bachiga cultural music being played, which is pretty fun. Yeah, so it's $30.
It's $30.
And then there's also tables.
Yes, tables, they are $500 for VIP, which is for 6 people, and then that includes the meal and the drink.
A meal and a drink.
And the drink for them, but you gotta dress up. You have to dress up.
Is there a dress code?
The dress code is the 70s, the 80s. You have to dress the clothes. And when you go, it's very easy. You got the chapis, the bolo bottom, and actually I still have on my bell bottom. You see it. I have my bell. I forgot to come with my shiny shoe, those days,
I know, right?
No, like that one. Afro, Afro. The afros, So those are the moments you start, and it reminds you of your parents, it reminds you of your grandparents, but also it reminds you of those days when you used to be so naughty and little high school kid who's running away, jumping through the window, going to HKSA and all kind of that. So those moments, you can't take them away. They are so crazy. And that's what really is so good about Oldies. And people always ask me, but why do you always have to put it over there all the time? Dude, if you can remember correctly, Ebikesa, Ebieda, they used to be in Mubufunda. They used to call it Mubufunda, or Mubu basement. You used to call it, You go there and
No,
you're all like
honestly,
this,
no, I think
and
that
it
venue is very
makes sense for us to know. I can't even trust me. We can't do it. Yes, we can go. Maybe next year we might think of another place, but it has to be.
The venue is absolutely.
It
very
has
fine.
to be in a place where it is like there.
Because it has parking, which is free parking, right? Which is like one of the most important things. And there's always that very, very nice guy who's always doing his muchomo.
Yeah.
Muchomo outside, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe unless you tell me that it's gonna be smaller with the numbers, but it's a beautiful venue. I love it. And for me, I would rather support, utilize that space, because then if you rent it out, you're supporting the church too.
Exactly.
Right? And
That's
programs that support people.
Exactly.
I remember when there was the recent refugee crisis last year. Uganda Matters Church.
Yeah, we were part of
with Dominion.
with Dominion. We worked together to.
So we have to give back to that, to that church, because it's our community. So if you have, and I'm honestly encouraging people, if you have an event and it's not very, very many people, you can always utilize that space, because at the end of the day, you are giving back to that church, and that church improves that space and makes it cheaper for others as well. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's like I call it a reciprocal kind of like thing.
That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ngamusanvu, this Saturday. Mujje banange mujje.
Naye tumwerabira kwambala. That is the person. Tumwerabira kwambala. It is. That is what. Yes. Afro, bell bottom, shiny t-shirt. Get to Google and you will see how people used to dress up in the 70s and the 80s, especially the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be fun. Yes, we're going to have our auction. Elders will come too. Most of the elders will come because they really enjoy that music. But also we're going to have so many young people who actually want to experience that. They want to have that emotional attachment because their mother used to talk about it, their dad used to talk about it. Oh, now they can listen to it.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. It's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be beautiful. $30, guys. Come, let's support Innocent. Innocent is a very great guy. He's what I like about him is that he's mature.
Thank you.
And with maturity comes not only in terms of age, but maturity in terms of character and how he handles issues. And he's been doing this for 14 years. For 13 years, this is going to be the 14th year. So, by then you are an expert on what you're doing.
We are going to stock a lot of drinks.
Okay.
A lot of drinks. And I think that's one of the things. And definitely, there's nobody who's perfect. That was a mistake. And I took it out and say, okay. No, it was one of those mistakes you make. You go like, oh, I think maybe like 15 will be enough. Oh, no, it was not. So no, we're ready. I think we all learned from our past. It's going to be well, we're going to be well equipped.
Yeah.
We know what to do. But the most important thing is to come and enjoy, man.
Okay, so how do people pay? What time do gates open? So
there's an email on my flyer, which is Karuhanga, which is my last name, karuhanga@gmail.com. That's the e-transfer email.
On the screen, so.
And we open at 8 o'clock. So 8 p.m. until kumacha. Kumacha sawa munana chitunda bwetitunga nga tugenda mpaka kumacha. Yeah, so that is the moment. Yeah, and it's gonna be fun.
The bar will be open 8 as well.
The what?
The bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. The bar is gonna be open as soon as you come in. You can just Pastor Peace, do you know how many times I call her to come? She comes on Valentine's Day. She always comes.
Pastor Peace, by the way, supports community.
No, she's very, very, very.
Pastor Juma. Now we have Pastor Judith Babidi as well. even Pastor Kazi and the wife, they have also been
Oh,
very
amazing,
in community
amazing,
activities.
amazing.
We want to thank those leaders, our religious leaders. You know, in as Africans, as Ugandans, religion is part of a faith. You know, some people do not subscribe so much to religion, but faith is part and parcel of us. So, you know, we want to thank these religious leaders. And there have also been an example. At least we've not had scandals with our
No,
religious leaders.
no, we have not.
Proud of you.
Yeah,
Proud of you, Pastor Jumba, Pastor Peace, Pastor Kazi, and your
Yeah.
wife, Pastor Judith. Levy.
those are our pastors.
Oh, and Pastor Kiri as well. You know Pastor Kiri?
Absolutely, I know all of them.
He's a very humble
I know all of them, and I think we've grown through their wisdom. They have done everything we could. I mean, Pastor. I mean,
Nehajat Joel.
yeah. Yes. Yes.
She's doing a
yes.
lot, by the way.
Absolutely.
She's working
Absolutely. Our Muslim community brothers. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, for me, I look at the bright side of the community. Honestly, much as you talk about the fights and little, I look at the bright side of the community. I think what we're going to bring, where we're going, is better than where we've been. Definitely, so the
Even
good
the
thing.
Bible talks about
so
the Bible says the latter will be greater than the past.
100%.
After all is gone,
Yeah.
the best.
So usually it takes a fight. It takes going up and down. But trust me, at the end of the day, what comes out of this fight, what comes out of this whole mess and calling each other's names, sometimes it's better, because what I see is happening with you, like what you guys are doing, what this gentleman does, and what all this young entrepreneurship, everybody that is doing what they do, what they're doing. We never used to have this 10 years ago. No. What? Organization? No. But people are starting their own things.
Yeah.
It is great.
I love the
It is great.
spirit of startups that I'm seeing. I'm seeing very many guys, you know, doing small photography business, small restaurant business, organization, like all these little things. And guys, please, we really, really need to support these people, because this is how businesses start.
Yes.
Google, Microsoft, Facebook, they all started in garages.
Absolutely.
Right? So we're starting in our small apartment bedrooms, in our shelter rooms. Please, let's support these businesses.
So
Instead of
so we
bringing
do.
them down,
Yeah.
let's find a way of at least if you can't give them money, encourage them or link them, right, to another client.
Yeah.
In another community. It could be the Ghanaian community, the Kenyan community.
Yeah.
Right? And let's support our event organizers as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
You know.
And honestly, presence doesn't mean that everybody can say that, but being able to do in the background and actually just help communicate, help advertise, help market stuff, that really helps us all so much. You know, I do so many other business. By the way, I used to have a cleaning business on the side. I have obviously, other than the entertainment part of it and this and that. But I also do consultation. I have consultation service companies as well I work with. So there's so much that people do. But also I do also have a resort. I have what we call timeshare, but now they are called functional timeshares, of where you have, in a resort, you have like 5 rooms and they are for you. I have those ones in Collingwood, actually. That's where we're going to talk about. And so you work with a resort where you have a few rooms where you pay a certain fee, but when people come, they pay you.
Also, it's like a Airbnb or it's
but in a resort, like in a resort.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be a little bit tricky, but when you navigate through it, it is a good business to.
There's a lot of actually, I feel like. You know, when we come into this country, and I mean, I understand because we need money. So oftentimes it is, I'm looking for a job, which I totally understand and appreciate because we need money. But then there's lots of business opportunities as well that we can utilize, we can take advantage of. You know, lately, very many Canadians they invest in shares and stuff like that, right? And so you find instead of keeping $5,000 on your account for 1 year, you can invest it in the stock market, and at the end of the year, even though it brings you an extra 500, it's better than nothing, right?
I'm telling you.
So and I think we need those conversations. We need to start talking about how can we initiate and start.
I think my advice is this corroborate as much as we can. This try and support each other as much as you can. You don't have to gain something in order to support someone. You don't need to be earning some sort of a connection of money related things in order to support someone. Support, corroborate. You have no idea when you make that phone call and say, this is what I'm, even if you have an answer, try and get in touch with people that you think they probably know a little bit more. You'll be surprised.
You know, learning
very surprised. You'll never know. You might have all the answers, but you might get a different option altogether. Like, oh, wow, I didn't know there was this kind of thing. Oh, I didn't know there was this, and it's cheaper. Oh, okay, I will use this. But it's just all about communicating. Don't be afraid to corroborate. Don't be afraid to reach out to other people that you've never talked to and talk to them. See whether
connections, networks. Talk about
it might work, might not work, but it doesn't really hard for you to start a new venture and be able to communicate with other people and find out whether you can, you can do business with them or not. And yes, that's how.
And also, I've just learned recently that finding jobs in this country, I've not learned recently by, just like it is back home, finding a job or a good job is usually through networks. More than even
you gotta know someone to know someone to know someone. Tibakurimba wano, you can have all the degrees you want, you can have all the masters, you can go to school you want. Perfect. Actually, as a matter of fact, everybody needs to go to school and learn. Absolutely, 100%. However,
who knows you?
You gotta know someone who knows someone.
You have to.
You're not gonna get the other job. 100%.
So I totally agree, and I want to do a show actually on the issue of networking and partnerships, because you guys, you have to know somebody to land that job. That is the truth. If you cannot find them anywhere, at least go on LinkedIn and look for them and follow them, and
I remember I have great something. It's gonna be valuable to me. I have left. I probably am gonna benefit 300 times more than you do. So I can't be afraid of. Don't ask, but people might talk about you. No. Just do what you're gonna do as long as you see it's gonna be beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Manage. Thank you for joining us on this show. As always, please subscribe, share, comment. On this video, and it's really been nice hosting Mr. Karuhanga Innocent, one of the community leaders. Please let's sign up in big numbers, in our usual hundreds, or even thousands, and support him for the upcoming all these nights. Tunayo ne gundi ya bina inayo some parties, I don't know exactly what.
Oh, is it the Christmas? Is it the Christmas one?
Bini Mumumanyi is one of us.
Oh, you're Mutabani. Yeah.
Uganda wa fena
Mutabani,
So to supporting
100%.
You'll see them being shared. Carol does something on 31st, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
End of year.
Yes, at Lashish.
Please let's also support Carol.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah.
And then Omwaka Gugwe, and then to get Mwaka Omlala. We trust and believe God that He's gonna see us into the new year. And so thank you very much. Please remember to share. Remember to like. Remember to subscribe. Hit that bell. Amplify Media 01. Just hit that bell, subscribe, and then also like the video as well and share it as well. And and if you want us to host you on this event, on this show, please reach out to me. on my number. I know it's out there in the community, or you can send us an email on amplifymedia01@gmail.com, or you can ask Karuhanga to give you my number or anyone in the community. Yeah. And then, if you have a story to share, why not? I would be more than happy to visit you. There's a lot that we need to talk about. We need to, educate and inform our community.
And
thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.